You may bury me in the east. You may bury me in the west. But I'll hear the trumpet sound in that morning, my Lord, for how I long to go, for to hear the trumpet sound in that morning. Can't you see them? The original Jubilees, huddled together on the platforms of trains and horse-driven carriages. 7 of them born into slavery, and all 9 of them well acquainted with its inhumanity, its brutality, and none of them imagining its deadly persistence even today. If you don't mind, we who have gathered are here to wade in the waters of not just their past, but of our present and yet unborn future. After all, I've got a feeling deep down in my heart that we are gathered not merely or even mostly because there is a balm in Gilead, but also because, like the Jubilees, we must tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. So we gather 150 years later, calling on the Jubilees to come by here, Minnie Tate, Green Evans, Isaac Dickerson, Jenny Jackson, Maggie Porter, Ella Shepard, Thomas Rutling, Benjamin Holmes, and Eliza Walker. Come by here. We speak your names. We call on you, although you have stolen away to Jesus, to swing low, sweet chariots of spirit and of song, of suffering and of strivings, of talent and tenacity, faith without falter or folly, and you, black resistance and persistence personified. You who sung of Joshua and the battle of Jericho, and of Ezekiel seeing a wheel. You truly knew troubles no one has since seen. You stood amid a small crowd of well-wishers and some haters too. You engineered an occasion unlike any other before it. You had come to the Fisk School turned university for an education, were preparing to leave its modest grounds to save it. You Minnie, you Green, you Isaac, you Jenny, you Maggie, you Ella, you Thomas, you Benjamin, you Eliza, you sung the melodies once sung in fields of cotton, sugar, rice, and tobacco. You shared the lullabies sung in fire-lit one-room slave quarters. You kept for us the secret recitations of Black foremothers and forefathers who stood at riversides all across the American South in the hope of following the drinking gourd to freedom. You sung just as a dejected mother before you had cried out with her babe Ella to her breasts, "Before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave at the banks of the Cumberland River." You paved the way for Frederick Loudon and for John Work 1, 2, and 3, for Harry Burleigh, for Paul Robeson, for Roland Hayes and Marian Anderson. You did so in spite of the troubling ways of white folk who loved and love Black art, Black food, and Black song, but not Black people. And even when those who demanded childlike obedience, you the fledgling of a mighty race, gave up yourselves as willing sacrifices long before it was popular, longer still before potentially lucrative, and even when doing so may have led you to suffer unto death. You put on the gospel slippers, boarded the gospel train, and every day dug in the gospel plow. As children of God, you answered the call to go where I send thee, enduring grueling travel, suffering the indignity of racist diatribes and segregated accommodations, and laboring largely without compensation, traveling across America and Europe. You brought yourselves fame, and you raised the American missionary a sizable fortune with which it did what it wished. You traded seats in modest classrooms for cargo carriages long before the Grammys even had a stage. You Minnie, you Green, you Isaac, you Jenny, you Maggie, you Ella, you Thomas, you Benjamin, you Eliza, you have not been forgotten, and you never will be, because so many more have answered the call of your legacy. I am a pilgrim, said Mrs. Myers. I will sing the song of the free, said Matthew Kennedy. I will tell it on the mountain, said Revis Mitchell. All will be welcomed at my archival table, said Beth Madison House. And I will keep the lamp trimmed and burning, says Paul Kwame. So that today, from our hearts, we can all say, as you once said, Lord, I'm out here on your word. Lord, I'm out here on your word. If I die on the battlefield, I was out here on your word. Happy homecoming.